Hey everybody, this is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and today I have something kind of special for you. This is an old design with a new twist. This is called the Cascading Lace Super Scarf, and it is available in one of my leaflets with Leisure Arts. Let me show it to you. It's called Textured Super Scarves, and in this leaflet there are a total of 4 different patterns, and this is very economically priced. It's available both as a PDF from Leisure Arts and in the physical booklet form. So this is a really fun scarf. Originally, this was supposed to be crocheted to be 10 feet long. Obviously, I did not make it as long as that, but I made it about 8 feet long. These patterns, the way they are written, you can tailor the size to your desire. And a really fun thing about them as well is you can even change up the yarn. Originally, these patterns used a worsted weight yarn and some used a bulky weight yarn. I substituted a DK or number 3 weight yarn very successfully, and I just love the way this feels, the way it looks, and the size and everything. And I did dictate a little bit different sizing for this, and I'll tell you about that in the video. I also have made the same scarf using fingering weight yarn, and I'm going to put a picture of what that looks like right here. So you're not really limited in any way. You can also use your stash yarn, things that you may not know what you could do with it. Maybe you have leftovers and you just want to make it a stash buster. Definitely consider that as well. Well, let me go ahead and show you what you're going to need. For this project, I'm going to be using some very special yarn in my stash by the Noro company. This is made in Japan. It's beautiful yarn. And this is called Enka. And this is the fiber content is 50% cotton, 20% silk, 15% wool, and 15% polyamide. This is one of the softest Noro yarns that I've ever touched, and I'm really looking forward to working with that. But let me be very specific on the yarn for this particular project. On the original design, I used approximately 1,500 yards of a worsted weight yarn. So feel free to use any worsted weight yarn should you want to stick to that protocol for this particular project. And if you do use worsted weight yarn, be sure that you use a size J or 10 or 6.00 millimeter crochet hook, or whichever crochet hook will yield the drape of the fabric that you desire. Okay, now for this Noro yarn, which is a DK or number 3 weight yarn, I'm going to be using a size I or 9 or 5.50 millimeter crochet hook. I don't mean to be confusing, but this is one of those designs that the yarn that you use, the yarn size, as in the width, the thinness or thickness of the yarn, really does not matter. And it does open itself up to really any type of yarn. I'm going to put a picture right here of a scarf that I made years ago using the same pattern, using a sock weight yarn. And I believe I used approximately 800 yards of the yarn for this design. You can make this scarf the original size, which is approximately 14 inches wide by 10 feet long. If you don't want a super scarf as long as that, feel free to adjust the length just by working fewer repeats of the pattern. All right, and as always, I'm recommending that as you prepare to begin this project that you have a pair of sharp scissors and a yarn needle handy. To begin, we're going to start with a slip knot and a starting chain of 58 chains. So go ahead and make your starting chain. So now to start row number 1, we're going to start by working a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Now we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and we're going to work a double crochet in the next stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet worked in that same space. In the next space, we work another double crochet. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and single crochet in that next stitch. Then we're going to repeat that again. Skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to work the double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet in that next space, a double crochet in the next stitch, and then again skip 2 stitches and single crochet in that next space. And that is going to be your repeat all the way across the row. Row 1 ends by skipping the next 2 stitches and a single crochet in the last stitch. So this is what you should have after you complete row 1, and you should have crocheted that motif 7 times. Okay, so now we're going to turn for row number 2, which starts with a chain 3. After that chain 3, we're going to work a front post treble in the first double crochet. We're going to skip the next double crochet, and in the chain 2 space, we're going to work 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. After that, we're going to skip the next double crochet. We're going to work a front post treble crochet in that next stitch, and that's going to be followed by a single crochet worked in the next single crochet. So that is the repeat. I'll work this with you one more time. Front post treble crochet, that next double crochet, skip the next double crochet, and working in the chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Skip that next double crochet, front post treble crochet in that next stitch, and then followed by a single crochet in the next single crochet. And that is the repeat as you work across for row 2. At the end of row 2, we work a double crochet in the last stitch, which is a single crochet. And this is what you should have after working 2 rows. For row 3, we're going to chain 3. Again, skip that first stitch, work a back post treble crochet over the next stitch, which was a front post treble crochet in the previous row. Skip the next 2 stitches, and in the chain 2 space, we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. Skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and we're going to work another back post treble crochet, chain 1, and this is our repeat. We're going to skip that single crochet, and we're going to work another back post treble crochet in that next stitch, which again is a post stitch from the previous row. skip the next 2 stitches, 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets worked in that same space. Skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then a back post treble crochet in the next post stitch, and then again chain 1, and then we repeat. Skip that next single crochet, back post treble in the next stitch, which again is a post stitch from the previous row, and just continue on. And this is what it will look like with the back side facing. All odd number rows will have the back side facing. All even numbered rows will have the front side facing. Row 3 ends by working a double crochet in the turning chain. Let's go ahead and turn. And with the front side facing, this is what you should have after completing 3 rows. And I must say I am enjoying the color changes on this Noro yarn. Now for row number 4, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to work a double crochet in that very first stitch. We're going to work a front post treble in that next stitch. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches. We're going to work a single crochet in that chain 2 space. Skip the next 3 stitches, front post treble in the next stitch. After that, we are going to work a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in that next chain space. And then we do it all over again. We're going to front post treble in that next post stitch, skip the next 3 stitches, single crochet in that chain 2 space, skip the next 3 stitches, front post treble in that next post stitch, and then in the next chain space we're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and that is going to be the repeat across the row. I'll go ahead and do this with you one more time. Front post treble in the next stitch, skip the next 3 double crochets, single crochet in that chain 2, skip the next 3 double crochets, front post treble in the next stitch, and in the next chain we're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. So go ahead and work that all the way across. Row 4 ends by working 2 double crochets in the turning chain. Let's pause and take a look. And it's always good to look at the end of each row to make sure that you have put the stitches in the proper places, just to make sure before going on to the next row. Now for row 5, we have the back side facing. We're going to start with a chain 3, and we're going to work 2 double crochets in that very first stitch. We're going to skip the next double crochet. We're going to work a back post treble in that next stitch. We're going to skip the next single crochet, and then we're going to work another back post treble in that next post stitch, just like that. We're going to skip the next double crochet, and in the chain 2 space we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. And that's going to be our repeat. I'll work this with you one more time. Skip that next double crochet, and we're going to work a back post treble in the next stitch, skip the single crochet, back post treble, and the next, again, these are post stitches that we're working the back post trebles over. Skip the next double crochet, working in that chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets worked in that same space. And then you do it again by again skipping the next double crochet and then working another back post treble all the way across. So go ahead and work that across, and I'll show you how this row ends. This row ends by skipping the next double crochet and working 3 double crochets in the turning chain. Okay, so this is what you have with the back side facing, and I think you're really going to like the front. And this is what we have with the front side facing. And again, I'm really enjoying the color changing yarn, but I think this looks just as beautiful and as solid. If you wanted to try working this in a solid or even a different type of color changing yarn, would be also an excellent choice. Okay, so now let's go ahead on to row number 6. Row number 6 starts with a chain 3, and we're going to work 3 double crochets in that first stitch. After that, let's go ahead and work. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and we're going to work a front post treble in the next stitch, a chain 1, and another front post treble crochet. Skip the next 2 double crochets, and working in the chain 3, we're going to work 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. And this is going to be your repeat across the row. I'll work it for you one more time. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, front post treble in the next stitch, chain 1, and front post treble in that next stitch. Skip the next 2 double crochets, and in the chain 2 we work 3 double crochets, a chain 2, followed by 3 more double crochets. Go ahead and work that across the row, and I'll show you where the row ends. Row 6 ends by working 4 double crochets in the turning chain, and we are skipping those 2 double crochets just like we've been doing. Let's go ahead and pause and take a look at what we have. This is after completing 6 rows. After turning, we're ready to begin row number 7. We're going to start with the chain 1, and we're going to work a single crochet in that first stitch. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches. We're going to work a back post treble over that next post stitch in the chain 1 space, which is between these 2 post stitches. We're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet, back post treble over the next post stitch, and now we're going to skip the next 3 stitches. We're going to work a single crochet in that chain 2 space, skip the next 3 stitches and back post treble over that next post stitch, and in the chain 1 space we work a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and that's going to be the repeat all the way across. And again, back post in that next back post treble crochet, that next post stitch, skip the next 3 stitches and single crochet in that chain 2 space. So go ahead and work that repeat across. After working this across the row, I'm going to skip the last 3 double crochets and work a single crochet in the top of that turning chain. And this is what you should have after 7 rows. Let's go ahead and turn, and we'll see how the front side of this looks. Now for row 8, I've gone ahead and turned with the front side facing. We're going to chain 3, and we're going to skip the first single crochet, and we're going to work a front post treble crochet. When we get to, we're going to skip this double crochet. When we get to the chain 2, we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Next, we're going to work a front post double crochet over the next stitch, and then we skip the single crochet, and then we work a front post double crochet over that next post stitch, and skip the next double crochet, and in that chain 2 space we work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. And that's going to be your repeat all the way across the row. Row 8 ends by working a double crochet in that last stitch, which is a single crochet. Let's go ahead and stop and take a look. So this is what you should have after completing 8 rows. Now from this point on, we're going to be repeating rows 3 through 8. Row 3 is where you have the clusters of the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets worked in the chain 2 spaces. So from rows 3 to 8, you're just going to repeat that over and over again. For the original design using the worsted weight yarn, and that's if you want a 10-foot scarf, you can repeat this approximately 27 times. That's what I did, repeating rows 3 through 8, and that will give you a total of 176 rows. Now if you don't want a scarf as long as that, you don't have to make it as long as that. You can, alter that however you wish. But I'm going to go ahead and work mine with the 2 balls of yarn of the Noro, and then I'll show you what I have. Do stay tuned, because after I show you how many repeats I make for the DK weight yarn, I will show you how to crochet the lace onto both ends of the scarf. So do make sure that if you are crocheting this until you run out of yarn, make sure that you have enough yarn to work the beautiful pineapple lace at the bottom of the scarf. This is what I have after working several repeats. I hope you really enjoy this, and I will give you a much better picture of this towards the end of the video. But I am just really loving this color changing yarn, and I have gotten to the point where I am halfway through. Now the original pattern would have you work this until it's approximately 112 inches long, and then after that you would continue on with working the lace. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and jump to showing you how to work the lace, and I'm going to have to reconnect on this end, and I will show you how that starts in just a second. Now, in regards to the 112 inches, of course, you understand that you can make this as long as you wish. I'm just stating what the pattern was originally designed for. But again, you are the one in charge, and you can make this as long or as short as you wish. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pineapple lace. The directions for beginning the pineapple lace, again, you will not have to join if you begin this right after you complete the length of the scarf before the added pineapples, but I'm showing you how to connect the other side. So now the directions say to crochet 49 stitches evenly across the bottom. Originally, we had a starting chain of 58, which means there were 57 stitches because one of those is a turning chain. We started in the second chain from the hook. So we have 57 chains, but we're going to work 49 stitches evenly. That is a difference of 8 stitches. So we are working 8 stitches fewer. So in order to make that even simpler, this is what I suggest that you do. We're going to join on this end, and I will show you how to do that. And I've placed stitch markers evenly. This is the center right here, which is the center of the 7th repeat here, or motif in the center. And then I divided that into 2 approximately, and so I put stitch markers in each of those locations. So if you make the goal as this stitch in the center being your 25th stitch or single crochet, and if you crochet 12 stitches in each of these sections that are sectioned off, you will have a total of 49 stitches. I know that is heavy on the math, but that is just one strategy for crocheting 49 stitches evenly across. And for the record, whenever that is stated to crochet a certain number of stitches evenly, that's just assuming that it's not the same number as you have to begin with. So in other words, it's asking you to allocate them evenly across the row. So this is just one way where you can do that, and that way you don't have to redo it again and again until you get the right number across. So I'm going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch to the turning chain here, and then I will begin these single crochets with you. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. I'm going to join this with the chain, and I'm going to go ahead and work a single crochet in this space. So after joining and making that first single crochet, I'm going to go ahead and try to crochet a total of 12 stitches, that's including the first stitch, evenly across, and we'll see how this goes. It may take more than one try, and that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's about halfway. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 for that stitch mark. I'm going to leave that stitch marker in so that I know where the 12 stitches are. And I'm just going to continue to make 12 stitches between here and right before that next stitch marker. So I'm going to actually work 2 stitches in that chain 2 space. And this is number 12. Let's go ahead and count that again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now we have a total of 24. 12 plus 12 is 24. And I said I wanted my 25th stitch to be right here where that stitch marker is. So that's the 25th stitch. So now we just need to work 2 more sets of 12 in between these other stitch markers. That's 9, 10, 11, and then 12, where the stitch marker is. Okay, and then we just have 12 more to go. I'm going to do another one, work another one in the same chain 2 space. So on the other side of the stitch marker, 1, okay, I think this is going to work out. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if you want, you can also do a final count just to verify that you have 49 stitches across. I highly recommend that you do that now because that's very important going forward. Now for row number 2, we're going to chain 3 and we're going to work a double crochet in that first stitch, a chain 2, and 2 more double crochets worked into that very same space. And then we're going to chain 1, and this is going to be the repeat across the row. We're going to skip the next 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in that next stitch we're going to work 1 double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, skip 5 more stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the next stitch, well, first of all we're going to chain 1 and then skip those 5 stitches and then work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And chain 1, and again skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, and then we'll do that again. A double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet, and we're going to work this all the way across the row, repeating that with 5 skipped stitches in between. So go ahead and work that across and I'll show you the end of the row. And so this is how this row ends, with the 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets worked in that last single crochet of the row. Okay, so we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of the single double crochet, I'm sorry, 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet. Okay. For row 3, we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to slip stitch into the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space. Chain 3, and then we're going to work a double crochet. The chain 3 counts as a double crochet in this row. Chain 2, and we're going to work 2 more double crochets in the same space. Okay, just like that. After that, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work 6 double crochets in the next chain 2 space, which is right over here. That's 4 and 5 and 6. Let's make sure we have 6. We do. Then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to jump over to the next chain 2 space, which is here, and we're going to work again the 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. And this is going to be your repeat across this row. Chain 1, 6 double crochets, chain 1, and then 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and notice where we're working. The six double crochet cluster is in the chain 2 space with 1 double crochet, chain 2 double crochet, and the 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets is worked in the similar motif right down here below. And so we're just going to go ahead and repeat that across the row. Row 3 ends by working the 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in that last chain 2 space. So now we're going to turn, and we're going to work row 4 by working a chain 1, slip stitch in those first 2 stitches and into the chain 2 space, chain 3, and just like we did the last row, we're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. That turning chain acts as a double crochet, chain 1. After the chain 1, we're going to work in the tops of the double crochets with a double crochet, a chain 1, and then double crochet in the next stitch, and a chain 1. You're going to do this total of 6 times over these 6 stitches. Make sure you work a chain 1 after each stitch, and then the last stitch, and again a chain 1. So you should have a total of 6 of these. After that, we're going to work in the next chain 2 space, and just like in the last row, work 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And then follow that with a chain 1. And that is going to be your repeat all the way across. That chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and do that 6 times. Don't forget to end with a chain 1, and then 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the next chain 2 space, followed by a chain 1, and then it repeats all over again. So go ahead and work that all the way across. Row 4 ends with the 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Let's go ahead and turn, and to start row 5, we're going to chain 1, we're going to slip stitch into the first 2 stitches and into the chain 2 space, and just like before, we're going to work a chain 3, a double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. So after working those stitches, we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to skip the next chain 1 space. In the next chain 1 space, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 3, and then single crochet in the next chain space, chain 3, single crochet in that next chain 1 space, chain 3, and do that again in the next chain 1 space, followed by a chain 3, and then single crochet in that next space. Let's pause and take a look at that for a second. After that, we are going to chain 1, and then we are going to skip the next chain space, and working in the chain 2 space, we work the 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And that is going to be the repeat. I'll work that for you one more time. Chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, and in the next one we work a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 3, and we'll do that again, single crochet in that next chain 1 space, chain 3, and then just a single crochet in that last chain space. So you should have a total of 4 chain 3s. Then do a chain 1, and then jump over, skip this chain 1 space, and in the chain 2 space we work the 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. So that is the repeat as you work across. Row 5 ends with 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Now for rows 6 through 10, we will be finishing off each pineapple individually and rejoining as we go across. So let's go ahead and start. This is again rows 6 through 10, and this being row number 6. Okay, we're going to start with a chain 1, slip stitch in the first 2 stitches, and in that chain 2 space again, chain 3, work a double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. After we do that, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip this chain 1 space, and working in the chain 3 space, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 3, and then the next one, single crochet, chain 3, and in the next one, single crochet, chain 3, and in the next stitch we work a single crochet. So you have 3 chain 3s. We're going to skip this next chain 1, and in the space right here we are going to work a 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Now to begin row 6, we start with a chain 1, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first 2 stitches and into that chain 2 space, chain 3, and in that same chain 2 space we're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Then we're going to work a chain 1 Now skipping the chain 1 space and working in the chain 3 spaces, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 3, working in the next chain 3 space, single crochet, chain 3, and in the next single crochet, chain 3, and then just a single crochet in that last chain 3 space, chain 1, and in the chain 2 space right here we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. And as a note, when we rejoin the yarn to create the second finishing pineapple, we will join in the same space there. Okay, now we're going to turn to work row number 7, and again we're going to be repeating rows 6 through 7 across, and I'll show you how to do that as we rejoin each one. And we chained 1, this is row 7, slip stitch to those first 2 stitches, and into that chain 2 space, chain 3, double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets in that same chain 2 space, chain 1, and then we're going to skip this space and working in the chain 3s, single crochet, chain 3, in the next space, single crochet, chain 3, and in the next space just a single crochet, chain 1, and skip to the chain 2 space, and we work that same cluster, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Okay, so this, we're kind of sectioning this one off. For row 8, I've gone ahead and turned, and we're going to chain 1. We're going to slip stitch into those first 2 stitches and into the turning chain, and just like we've done many times before, chain 3, double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets worked into that same chain 2 space. And now skip the next chain 1 space, and working in the chain 2 spaces, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 3, and a single crochet, a chain 1, and then work in that chain 2 space the 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. And this is after 8 rows, and you see this starting to come together. So for row 9, I've gone ahead and turned, chain 1, slip stitch each of those first 2 stitches and into the chain 2 space, chain 3, and double crochet in that same chain 2 space, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. After that, chain 1. We're going to skip the chain 1 space, and in the chain 3 space we're going to work a single crochet and then a chain 1, and now we're going to work in the chain 2 space where we work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. And this is what you have after 9 rows. For row 10, we're going to go ahead and turn, chain 1. I'm going to slip stitch in each of those first 2 stitches and into the chain 2 space, chain 3. After that chain 3, we are going to work kind of a decrease, but we're going to join these two ends together. And let me show you how we're going to do that. We're going to wrap our hook, insert into this chain 2, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to wrap the hook again, and we're going to insert into the next chain 2 over here. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. There we go. Now we're going to make one more double crochet in that same space. And now we're going to fasten off. Just make a chain, give it a tug, and using your sharp scissors, go ahead and cut a nice loose end that we can work into the work once we're totally finished. Okay, so now that you have this here, we're going to go back, and the same place where we started turning, we're going to join our yarn again in the same place and work on the next pineapple. And we will do this repeatedly on there are going to be 4 across the bottom, so this is 1, so we're going to do this the same way on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So we're going to join, go ahead and work a chain 3, and we're going to make that double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets in the same space. Let me just pause. So you see down here, and you see this is where row 6 began on the first pineapple. So we're going back to row 6 and working this again. And I'll go ahead and get you started, but I will let you, if you need to see a review of rows 6 through 10, I'll put a little time mark right across the bottom so that you can re-watch that section as many times as you need. But I'll go ahead and work row 6 with you to get you started. After that chain 1, skip the chain 1 space. We're going to single crochet in that next chain 3 space, chain 3, single crochet in the next space, chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 3 space, chain 3, and single crochet in that next space, chain 1, and we join again. We make that 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet cluster, and this is the point where we turn to begin the remainder of row 7, 8, 9, and 10 to finish up this next pineapple. So go ahead and work all 4 of those pineapples. I have reached the point where I am going to start the pineapple finishing on the one end. Now, when you finish to the length that you prefer, make sure that you end on a row that looks like this, where the edging is straight. This is where you have the 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet in between the post stitches, and that would be a repeat of either row 4 or row 7. So you can end on either of those rows, and it really doesn't matter if you have the front side or the back side facing to begin the pineapple edging, because it really doesn't matter. It's going to look fine either way. I already showed you earlier how to create the popcorn finishing. The only difference with this is you don't have to connect the yarn. The yarn is still connected, so you would just turn and begin the pineapple finishings. And in this case, I'm going to be starting it with the backside facing, and it should not matter even though I joined the other end with the front side facing. And as I did before, determine the center, which would be right here, and then you can add another stitch marker here and here, and just divide up, you know, the math again, with the center being the number 25th stitch as you work the 49 single crochets evenly across the row. So go ahead and repeat those pineapple rows. I'll put the time mark right at the bottom again where you can do that. And so go ahead and finish those up and hide the loose strands, and I'll show you what I have. Well, I hope you enjoyed making the cascading lace super scarf with me today. And if you did, I would love to hear from you. Please feel free to comment below. If by chance you would like to send me a photo of your finished garment, whether this garment or another, on my YouTube channel, I would love to see it. And you can send that to me at the email, which is in the video description below. And if you could also give me permission to share on social media, if you don't mind, that would be great. And if not, that's okay. I totally understand. I just love to see your creativity that you bring to these designs. Well, God bless. Bye-bye.